one kid can pick up a phone and get 5 million views. Isn't it just in 10K in sales? Because all of a sudden,
if I was starting off, I'd probably do that, man.
So that's the opportunity right now. This literal gold rush era we're in.
From being lost in the world and severely depressed to doing hundreds of millions of dollars with multiple e-commerce brands that I started from nothing.
I love this stuff and I'm still doing it today.
My name is Robert Oliver and this is my story.
Amazon in 2012 was free money. And we'll talk about free money today. Or TikTok, it's here again. This internet thing's for real. My dad spent 30 years to make $1 million and I just made $1 million in a month. Yeah, that's how you keep my dad for this. Busting his ass every day. I mean, a stupid kid just pressing some buttons on the computer, making magic internet. My first $1 million on the internet when I was 23 years old. I sold a business to private equity for multiple 8 figures when I was 26. I'll keep it under. I'll go a little less picture. Sets, women. I'm at a place with my life. I'm allowed to do stuff. And I've realized over the last year, like that is by far the thing that could stop me from getting where I want to go.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, okay? We got our merch live right now at www.mbhtv.com. All our shows got merch. Go check it out. You're going to love it, okay? Without further ado, guys, today I sat down with the TikTok shop final boss, Rob the Bank. This guy's done over 100 million in revenue across all his brands, okay? He even took part in an equity sale for 8 figures. This guy knows what he's doing. We spoke about mindset, why it's so important to have a strong mindset in business and in life. We talked about his story, how he built his empire so you can do the same. We talked about TikTok shop, how to make money right now, either as an affiliate or as a brand owner. We also talked about a bunch of different side hustles and businesses that you should either be starting or avoiding in 2025, okay? Lots of value in this one. Get your notepad out and enjoy the show. I want to get right into it and ask you something that I think will catapult this podcast, okay? How much money have you made up until this point?
That question frames the internet, the entire world. Everyone's on this whole like, how do you get $10,000 a month? You hear that all the time.
All the time.
And we need to be thinking through net. So I'll tell you my net worth straight up. Like, I'm not super about this. I think people need to talk more money. I'm approaching 50 million at 32 years old.
Wow.
Hope to clear, 100 plus. But you think about this stuff on the internet and like, what's the goal? It's fucking freedom. That's why we do all the things we do. And if you're thinking about how do I get to that $10,000 a month, it's such a simple thing. It's wrong because not every dollar is created equal. And if you're still trading time for money, you're ultimately like just a well-paid worker.
Yep.
And so that's been my challenge to the internet of like, create something that sets you free. Use the internet, use scale. Like it's a tremendous hiring to build companies. Like you guys did, you're building a media company with the internet. The fact that you can get millions of views in a setup like this, like that wasn't possible 10, 15 years ago. We're living in a golden age. But I think the internet has it backwards and I want to correct that. Like let's talk net worth, let's talk Wi-Fi wealth, let's get to the real.
So that's super interesting, by the way. And I think that gives everyone a good idea as to why you're sitting here on this podcast because of that kind of thought. Let's say your story is a book. Chapter 1, what's chapter 1? Where does it start?
I've lived so many different lives. Like the person sitting here today is so much different than the person that started in this e-commerce world. I would say like some of my youngest memories go back to seeing kind of like my family's growth. And I have a very interesting family relationship, interesting dynamics with my dad. My dad was the first of 5 kids, was born in a tent in Tennessee. He was almost 13 years old, he was Giada. And that man came out with a literal white trash trailer park gutter to, kind of self-made, just millionaire now, like old school way, worked 40 years, no college education. And so I just remembered my dad busting his ass always. Wasn't humble. He was the first person in the office, last person to leave, and he would do anything for his kid. He wanted us to be the first ones to go to college. I remember that. It was like one of the staples. And I think that impacted me in an interesting way. That's kind of the foundation of who you see here today.
And you speak a lot about your dad too, right? And I think a lot of people, they have that kind of relationship with their dad where it's tough, like you're not really that close with him. He's that father figure working, he's out. Did he inspire you to want to make money or was it freedom? What was it that was enticing you to say, I want to do something similar?
I always felt like I was doing a hip entrepreneurial thing. I don't know. I never had that, like the idea of me being someone's wage slave was like, it just never, like I'd rather die. Like honestly, I'd rather be homeless on the street. And that was my thought process young. I think he showed a path of like what that can potentially look like or just having a level of ownership, having a level of pride, being a strong individual. And I think that's a lot of the framework. But I could never, like, just from day one, I never pictured going the traditional route.
Well, I mean, you didn't take the traditional route at all, and you went crazy on the entrepreneur route. You got really successful really quickly. So my question is, like, what was your motivating factor at that point? Because you didn't just create a company and have some freedom. You made millions really quickly.
Yeah, a lot of it, right till I started talking. I know you got to talk manifestation. I know you got to talk belief.
Yeah.
I went through some life things that forced me to put a level of belief into the universe.
Okay.
And you talked about, and now part of that message is showing other people like that's there for them. Because when you talk about human issues, and most people like this, we have this innate desire to fucking control. Yeah. I'm a control freak. Mm-hmm. Like I want, I want to be in control of my life. I want to be in control of my health. I want to control all these things.
As you should.
And the reality is we're not in control, like at all. You even look through history. History is shaped by random events that no one predicted. I mean, the entire world we live in now was shaped by World War II. And nobody was predicting the rise of a crazy military dictator out of Germany after World War I. It was like unpredictable.
Yeah.
And that fundamentally shifted the world. And so when you think about it through that lens, you have to put a level of faith, trust, universe, God, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that was forced upon me. Like I'm trying to have like intense control issues. When you see someone like die, like abruptly, grandma, I don't want to get too into that story, but when you're kind of shocked with that, you realize that like our time here is super finite, right? And you have to ascribe that either this is all useless and it's pointless, or there's some bigger plan here that you have to put some level of trust and faith into. And so for me, I found that Amazon piece, right? Like Amazon in 2012 was free money. And we'll talk about free money today, right? TikTok, it's here again, right? But that was a dumb 22-year-old kid who was just trying to find his hustle. And all of a sudden I see this Amazon thing. My uncle was helping brands sell on there. My uncle was like, even though he can get along with it, I don't think he's a smart guy. I'm making all this money, that boat. I'm like, oh, what's this guy doing? And so I'm like, he's selling car stereo, but I sell supplements on here. And basically that door opened for me. And where I can take some credit is I had the awareness, I had the belief, and I had the commitment and the obsession to pour into that channel. And that's where the light bulb came on that like, oh, this internet thing's for real. My dad spent 30 years to make $1 million, and I just made $1 million in a month.
Yep.
And then there's also the challenges that come with that, right? Like, is this real? People don't believe you. Family issues. Yeah. That's how you kill my dad for this. Busting his ass every day. I mean, a stupid kid is pressing some buttons on the computer, making magic internet.
It's a weird dynamic to talk about that stuff too with family too, right? Because even myself, right? Like I'm in a podcast, I'm in the media space, so it's hard to explain to my parents, when you see big dollars coming in, they're like, what? I work so hard for... But I want to go back to something, right? We're gonna continue the story. 22 years old, you started with Amazon. That's the story starter.
Yep.
You mentioned your grandmother. I lost my grandmother abruptly, okay? And when that happened to me, I had the same vision you did. Wow, our time here is not guaranteed. And that actually flipped a switch in me to say, well, I need to have more control over my life and more control over my happiness. I want to get straight to the top because you never know when this party ends, right? So is that something that you felt from that?
That was the key part of the second piece of that. Yeah. Like all this other bullshit that we consider daily life, what's the point?
Yeah.
I was learning Chipotle, that's like all the normal things that people fall victims to, like going out on Friday, and it's like, but then you sit there and you go, wait a second, like what do you actually want when this is all said and done?
Yeah.
And then the fact that it could be taken from you tomorrow, it's like, how are you going to be living their life?
Yeah.
And so I landed on this Jeff Bezos thing. It's called the minimum regret framework.
Okay.
And the idea is that when you're 8 years old, he used this to start Amazon. When you're 8 years old, you want to have as few regrets as possible looking back. Yeah. And that was his math. He's a hedge fund, young guy, hedge fund, like super intelligent, making several $100,000 a year in New York, doing well. And he sits there and goes, this internet thing's taken off. It's clearly a big opportunity. Will I regret not going for it? Like if I stay in this position, I keep working my way up, like he can have a good life. But would he regret not rolling the dice?
Yep.
And that kind of crystallized my life too. It gave me so much perspective and clarity on the things I want to be doing and the things that actually matter.
Yeah.
And that was one of those first moments in my life where I had this like awakening. Like I am connected to the end goal. Like that's the first time in my life time didn't feel real. Like I felt like I'd already hit some of these things, and everything around me like melted. And then that's like old friendships, you know, the old way. Like it wasn't like I made this conscious thing like, hey guys, sorry I'm cutting you off. It's just like, no, I actually locked the fuck in and go with this. And I've kind of stuck to that, you know. How old are you?
I'm 31.
When did that happen?
Fuck, maybe 10 years ago,
So similar timeline. And there's been waves, right? Like late life dynamic and different things happen. But I tend to keep getting pulled back to that source, that reminder that like, yeah, we got one of these. Who gives a fuck with agnostics, right?
And I think that it's a simple yet genius way to move forward in life. You ask yourself at that moment, am I going to regret not taking this opportunity? Yes or no?
Well, genius is simplicity, right? And that is the genius way, right?
So I think people need to look more at that because life is happening so fast and people don't think, okay, am I going to regret this when I'm 60? They're just going through the motions. But when a thing like that happens in your life, you start thinking like that.
See, fear doesn't have people like unconsciously think. You think fear is a lion coming at you and you have a fight or flight response. The silent killer of fear is the one that projects an inability for you to look at what you're supposed to be doing. And that is that fear of death. If you sat there every morning and no one does this. I am going to die. It is a sit feeling. Like you don't know. Lights turn on. This, that. But if you did that, that would guide you in a way that's going to create a life that you want to live.
Of course.
Right? All of a sudden, all the other people's opinions wouldn't matter. You shoot your child in the business. You shoot your child, your girl, like whatever. But because that projection of death causes that fear where we don't have to look at it. We don't have to face it. We numb ourselves through 40, 50 years of life until all of a sudden some level of tragedy hits you and then you're like, oh shit. And so I think having the courage to remind yourself that some of the Stoic stuff, you know, is it memento mori, like the reminder you're gonna die, like every day. You know, I used to meditate with that. I'd repeat that as my mantra. It's a reminder. It's a reminder.
And at this point, you're not afraid of death.
No.
It makes sense. You're thinking about it all the time and you're desensitized to it. But you also said something very important, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs go through. You said, you know, there's some relationships that kind of dwindled away. You didn't make the call. You didn't put the stamp down and say, hey, we're not friends anymore. This just happened naturally because you decided to do your own thing. I think a lot of people at that point in entrepreneurship, that's when they stop and they say, well, that's my friend. I should be friends with him. Oh, that's my buddy from high school. Like, we got to hang out. How did you get past that?
The key is a rotten obsession. And everyone has obsession in them. It's a huge coat when people think they're lazy or this or that or whatever. Obsession activates when you're fully engaged, fully driven, fully present. And it's often we find a thing. We see it with artists. We see it with a Conor McGregor pursuing the, 2 world champs. Like you see it with Kobe. When that obsession activates, that stuff becomes irrelevant. So if you can consciously say that that's my friend, obsession hasn't activated. And obsession is scary because it does create all sorts of major issues. You look at some of the ultra successful people in the world, Steve Jobs, the daughter hated him, horrible family relationships. But at the center driver of all of that is obsession. And people need to find that. Everything else solves itself.
And I think people are naturally obsessed with things already, though.
They are.
Right? It's not like, I have to go find what I'm obsessed with. Usually if you've tried out enough things. For sure. Right? And then it's just about, going back to it. Even the regret thing. Am I going to regret not taking this opportunity because I want to stay with my old friend group?
Exactly. And it's pursuing that. It's the combination of pursuing curiosity, because that innate drive is what's going to lead you to the thing that you often get lost in from a flow state component. And then the second piece of that is, how do I frame this? It's so difficult because everyone's like, how do I start? Where do I find this thing? And you can't it kills me sometimes because you see the same people making the same mistakes, right? The same patterns. And we got to come back to that. I need to think about how to properly
that's fine.
Answer that.
That's fine. I mean, we've been going at it a little bit intellectual right now. I like it. But let's get into the TikTok stuff because I know that you're the guru.
People want to make money.
You're the guy, right? You're the guy. So I'm going to quickly just fast forward everything. Amazon, 22 years old. That's when you start blowing up. When do you sell your first company?
Right before my 27th birthday.
Congratulations. Good birthday party for sure. Okay, so you're making money, everything's going well. When does the TikTok shop light come on top of your head?
Like 24 months ago was when it all kind of came to be. And this goes back to the faith in the universe thing. Like I sold those businesses, took a little time off, realized like I am this e-commerce guy, I'm this branding guy, like this is what my life was supposed to be. And so I started another holding company of these things. And that's when Rob the Bank kind of started too. I was like, I want to do social media. I want to invest in other businesses. I saw how Ramosi was doing acquisitions.com. I was like, it's powerful.
Yep.
And the game had got hard. Like the Amazon game itself was not as easy as it was when the 22-year-old kid was running it.
Yeah.
And with that, like there were challenges. We had two businesses fail, like a food company, and that was new to me. Like failure was new to me. And then all of a sudden, I'm seeing, this new app, this dancing app, blow up. And I'm seeing ideas go from that app to like Google search and Amazon. Mm-hmm. And this is before TikTok Shop. Okay. I'm like trying hard to crack this. He started talking about universe and some of this stuff. The way I found my business partner and the way we've been able to monopolize this game came from total randomness, fate, and chance. Do you remember the first deepfake of Joe Rogan and Andrew Huberman that built the internet?
Of course.
So a lot of people know that was one of my brands.
Oh, really?
That was one of my brands. And I'm this guy at this age that like, I'm not the young kid anymore. Amazon, I was the button pusher.
Yeah.
TikTok, I'm paying all these different people to try stuff.
Okay.
Because I saw the Andrew Tate method. I don't know if we could say that. Yeah, you can
of course
leak his name.
We're good.
But, which is crazy. But
I know. Well, that's a whole other thing, bro.
But on that note, it's like, okay, this multi-account thing is what gets you views.
Yeah.
So we're trying that from a product perspective, but we're not popping off going viral. And then one of my guys found his deepfake technology like early on. And funny enough, the video itself didn't do shit.
Okay.
It wasn't until this kid, Jimmy Foley, retweets it. He goes, holy shit, how is this even illegal? I've never seen it. Someone sent it to me. They're like, that is this your gram? I'm like, yeah. And then the first one, I'm going to turn me, it's not. And this is Super Bowl Sunday. I'm kind of watching this thread go up. It's like 100,000 views. Like, I'm like, this ain't good, but it's not going to kill me, right?
Exposure.
I'm covered with the brand. Like, my name's on it. Like, I didn't approve this deepfake. They're like, it's going down now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all right, this is like relatively avoidable. Halftime on the Super Bowl, Hoppyzilla retweets it. Wow. Deepfakes are here. We're not right. Okay. 20 million views later, 30 million views later. My attorney's talking to Rogan's attorney. Huberman's commenting on the thread. I'm like, oh, shit. But on that initial tweet, Jimmy tweets underneath it. He's trying to capitalize on all this. He goes, if anyone wants to learn how to make money on TikTok without scamming, hit me up.
Wow.
And so I did.
Yeah.
And it turned out he's this like 21-year-old kid living in Scottsdale, like savant level TikTok understanding.
Okay.
And he knew how to make products survival, and no one had given him the time of day.
Yep.
And he just needed someone with some credibility and belief, like to believe in him. And long story short, we created this system that took, like that business went from like $100,000 a month to like $1 million a month in like 4 months. Profitably, like super thought.
And what product was that?
That ran top shelf. So they eventually spun off this. Like we had coffee, and we had, at the time it was a product of Alpha Grime, which is kind of modeled after that whole recto market.
Yep.
But then we took that to like holding company level. We spun out 8 different brands. Like in the past 4 months, it'd be close to 90 million revenue.
Wow.
All off this fluke random thing where I wasn't going to have to like say, I know or I don't know, right?
Yeah.
This game's changing on me. But then just random coincidence of that kind of coming to be.
And you believed in something in him right off the bat.
Definitely.
Yeah, because that's a question we get a lot too. Like, how do you know? Because me and my partner Anthony have a great partnership, and again, it came the same kind of way, like fluky. How do you find that partner, and what are you looking for in that partner?
I really think you attract the right people. There's like cliche if that sounds. And I've seen that online. The more I become who I'm supposed to be, the more I focus on like becoming who I am, getting my message out there, the more the right people gravitate to that. Because I forced it prior to Jimmy. Like I like the deepfake. I mean, that was not a good decision, right? Like, and then I had another kid, but he took $6,000 from me and like spun up all these accounts, and they were clearly all shadow banned. Like he didn't know what he was doing.
Okay. Okay.
And that was me like forcing it. Yeah.
Yes.
Versus being patient, waiting for the right thing to come, continuing to invest in me.
Yep.
And I really think that's the key.
And I think to be open-minded like that, he's younger than you, so you didn't really have any ego attached. You're not like, oh, I want to do this all on my own, which a lot of people do.
From that perspective of just the pure synergy of like, there's all sorts of other things that at certain levels. Like now jealousy is a huge thing from a lot, like, you know, if you're building brands and you're around my thing, not doing the same as me, like I had a guy go for me a genius, you know, like you come out the second you fit, and I knew it.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Because people want what you got.
Of course.
But with Jimmy, it was he got a beautiful perspective. It was such a eagerness to learn. Like he didn't even make money on the initial proposal. Wow. He like just wanted to show me that it would work.
Okay.
And stuff like that, you know.
So he's more in the back end, manning the affiliates and manning the way to sell, and then you're in the front end, being the face of the company, correct?
In a lot of ways, yeah. It's kind of extended, you know, past me, per se. And some of these, this is like the fourth biggest business. We got a couple of those on like bonkers. And we just all play our part. Like I'm very active in the brand portfolio side itself. That's the mind-blowing thing to people on social. I do all the guru stuff, right? I teach like $1 Million Brand Club. My mentorship is a vehicle. We've invested in 4 brands in here. Like, yeah, you pay to be in it, but like I'm in that for the equity. Oh, so you're actually like kind of incubating. Smart. And then whatever you like, you can have a conversation, see if there's equity to be shared. Exactly. Then we have Jimmy's system where he got this whole other thing.
Okay.
Like he realized to scale that, he had to go into coaching too. Because we only had like 7 or 8 of these people that could run accounts.
Okay.
So now he has a program called Creators Corner, which has hundreds of affiliates that are trained to make content for our brains. Okay. And it's like this ultimate win-win. But it's kind of like we have that game unlocked, right?
Yep.
And I mean, Scott, that's why we kind of monopolize this shit. To go from zero to like
it.
Yeah, now
I mean, I don't really know too many other people or products that have done that well on TikTok Shop. You would know.
No, and the ones that have are often tied to him and our system in some way. Like actually.
True. Mm-hmm. True. Okay, so how big is the team right now?
I mean, it's scattered across different parts. Like $1 Million Brand Club has, you know, the mentorship piece has like 12 employees. Okay. Nonstop Ventures is the investment branch, and in our holding company for these, a lot of shared services. We got 15 employees there.
Okay.
Great. So 30 people under like my thing, and then Jimmy's Creators Corner is its separate thing. Right? I got like a little piece of that, but that's his thing, and that has 20 people ordering for.
That's amazing. Well, okay. So to recap, you link up with him naturally. You're like, this guy knows what he's doing. I know what I'm doing in my sense. Team up, and then magic starts happening. You said there was some failed products.
No, that was before Jimmy.
That was before. Okay, so Jimmy helped fix that problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the products then. I'm holding one right now. Her Loss, top shelf, correct? What goes into creating this? And I know you're the brand guy, correct?
Let's talk real quick about the opportunity.
Yes.
Because what made Amazon so special in the beginning was the fact there wasn't a lot of people on there. And you could create a company with very little money. Okay. Like I could come out with a pre-workout. It didn't really matter what I came out with. And I could do a couple of giveaways, and I could run a couple of very cheap ads. And now I'm organically at the top of pre-workout on Amazon.
Okay.
Where 20,000 people are searching a month.
Okay.
And that 20,000 people searching a month is 20 grand in our pocket. Okay. And so that was that opportunity. And then all of a sudden, like the searches only got bigger, and you're only more entrenched at the top. And so that opportunity just kept getting bigger until ultimately it was like, you know, 10 years later, now it's the powerhouse is fighting there. Yeah. Because, but I'll tell you what, like Genius Brand, our first company, is still #1 on mushroom supplements.
Wow.
That's the way Amazon works. It's like digital real estate. And if you have that history, you're locked or fuck in.
So it's kind of like first to market almost if you do a good job.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And so the beauty of that was like, hey, this kid, I had 3 grand that do the manufacturers a down payment. And they gave me terms. I built a business that was doing 30+ million a year. In 4 years with no outside capital, nothing. And so that opportunity was just I don't raise money. I'm not like one of those guys.
Yeah.
And so I spent those next 2 years looking for like, where's that magic? Mm-hmm. And it was this, because all of a sudden, one kid sitting in his Brickell condo can pick up a phone, make some video of AI, you know, voiceover or whatever, and get 5 million views. Yep. And I'm only paying that kid $500, and it just did 10K in sales for him.
Crazy.
So that's the opportunity right now, right? Okay. So like, as cool as the products are, as much as they matter, I think they matter way less versus like this literal gold rush era we're in. Yeah. Because early Amazon, it was skiing thing, right? Yes. Like we'll come out with journals next week. We got mouth cape that goes crazy viral, you know?
But I want to know, how are you deciding on these products? How are you deciding which products to choose?
I'm gonna be honest, at this point, this is like my passion thing, and I'm trying to take it into like a more of a high fashion area as long as co-marks are consumable.
Sick.
At this point, I want to be it's very difficult to run a brand. Like some of the ups and downs of like operating this. I'm trying to hire a CEO. We hire a CEO in our other business. You gotta be like a certain stage to do that.
Yep.
I hate the operations. I just do.
Yeah.
And so now we have the framework for how the students choose the brands, and I can talk about that. And I just want to write checks. I want to write checks to good operators, give them the guidance, and no longer push buttons, because building a personal brand, doing stuff like this, that's a full-time job. And then on top of that, I'm running this brand portfolio, that is also a full-time job.
Which we're going to talk about that too, managing both of that.
It's difficult, right? But it's been good, like from a growth perspective, and we'll talk about that instead. But I do want to talk about how people find products in general.
Before, the opportunity you said, because you saw the Amazon hype for that, and I'm pretty sure it's died down now a little bit or saturated.
It's more difficult in the sense of, I wouldn't even call it saturated, because Amazon's a reflection.
Okay.
So pet supplements, they weren't a thing 5 years ago, and Amazon's still hard.
True.
And then pet supplements become a thing. There's a new segue that opened up, and it's a huge habit.
Okay.
But in terms of literally being able to throw anything up there, like an idiot could make $1 million. And I saw idiots make millions of dollars bapping my stuff. Like I was an idiot. Like, And so that has changed.
Okay.
But half of our strategy now too, bro, is use this external traffic to juice Amazon still. Like there's still.
And seeing the Amazon, timing of it, the 4 years, the 6 years, whatever it might be. Can you now use that knowledge and put a kind of timeline on how long this TikTok shop will last?
Yeah, I think people have like 18 to 24 months to make as much money.
So we're like halfway into it, maybe a little bit?
I think we're a year in. And then I think that first 3 years is like where an idiot can make several $1 million.
So we're in that right now.
We're dead in the middle of that. And I was screaming about it 6 months ago. TikTok's gonna get banned. We're so stupid. It's not gonna get banned. Our government can't do anything.
Yeah.
And why everyone else has FOMO, go run it up. And that's exactly what we done. We made,
Yep.
And so when I say these next 18 to 24 months are as good as it's ever going to get, like I hope people hear me.
Yeah.
Because, my first million, the Business Podcast,
Yep.
super respectable guys. I'm really close with one of the, like the best friend of Bethel's.
Okay.
And he knows my stuff well. And in general, he hates like course guys.
Okay.
And at first he looked kind of standoffish with me. And then he goes, yeah, the more I look at this, because they invested in one of our brands that, we 10x their shit in like a short period of time. He goes, when I look at this has to be like the most clear-cut way to go from, 0 to maybe 5 million net worth.
Yeah.
Which is super meaningful. That's why it's like, screw this $10,000 a month thing. If you can have a couple million in liquid net worth, you have a stake to get.
Yeah.
But like then you're playing a different game. And so to see this window right now, it's just I hope as many people see it as possible, and I hope they come through me and Jimmy and let me invest.
That's true. It's quite mind-blowing to see that you can exit a company that was built on TikTok, on a social media. It's crazy.
Well, that's what they said about Amazon. This was just stupid discount platform. I mean, really, and that is like identifying these opportunities is where the money is made. Because by the time you're going, private equity is interested, well, then all the sophisticated players are in it too.
They're already there.
They're already there. And so I'd say that's been one of my like gifts per se. It's just been be able to anticipate the future to a modest degree. Not like 20 years out, but just like when I saw TikTok, when you go look at Asia without people buy this, like it's fundamentally disrupting society. Like when my wife now goes to dinner, in a new state, like she's no longer looking at Yelp. She's looking at TikTok. She wants to see the food.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it across the rest of the world with the sending of products. And every time the ground shit's like that, that's your chance to make money.
Of course. So let's talk about the creation of the products with your students as well. So you got them involved in creating products now under your brand.
Their own brand.
Their own
people to pursue their own thing, build their own enterprise value.
And you kind of just consult them?
Yeah, we have a whole playbook framework, and then the creator system too. Okay. So that's $1 million brand flow.
So they know that at the end of the day, if they create a product that you really like and does well, you're in. Yeah. Right? Okay, so now talk to us about that. What kind of products are you looking for?
I'm looking for, it's pretty simple. I'm more interested in good operators. Like you take some sort of idea that's out there. We use a brand I just invested in. My guy Cole with a Hybrid Tape is the product. It's mouth tape.
Smart.
And we got a bunch of different ways for people to see what's kind of trending up in the general world. Or we top Jake Tran's brand, Evil Goods. You know,
So you're involved with that.
yeah, we're going after that.
Shout out Jake.
Shout out Jay. And then actually, sure, you followed it to a T. He had his YouTube channel as kind of a backstop.
Yep.
Never introduced it. Like the TikTok went so nuclear that, like, that is the system, right? And so something like that.
So he created the product with you.
He
Or
created
did he
all,
create
he did
it and then
all
come to-
himself.
Wow.
And then I invested in it. Wow. Our teammate. Yeah.
So that's the process. Create it, then let me check it out. It's
So
really
I
cool.
want to do, and they got to hit Dolan too. I don't want to do all the stuff anymore.
Of course.
You know, like most people we join, I don't touch their
And how can someone get in touch with you regarding that?
through NDBC. They join. They're they're a player. They're
Okay, so they're creating products, you're incubating them pretty much, and you're saying, okay, well, I know what I'm doing now. I want to see if you guys know what you're doing. Sign up and let's do this together. Really cool. And I like the TikTok monetization because there's two ways you can make money, right? That's what you talk about as well. There's the affiliate side, and then there's if you're going to build the brand side. Can you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, that's the great dichotomy of this $10,000 a month versus internet wealth.
Yeah.
Some of Jimmy's creators in Creators Corner are making $20,000, $30,000 a month. I pay a kid $40,000 a month. We launched Love Bombed. He did $500,000 in sales. I paid 30-some thousand, and I went and bought him a Van Cleef, right? Like,
Wow.
We take care of our affiliates, our creators. But on that side, like, that's not gonna last forever.
Mm-hmm.
It'll have another couple of good years. He can make a couple $1,000,000 for sure. But he's gonna pay ordinary income. Like he's gonna, I mean, you're in Canada, right? Like you know what taxable is like on ordinary income. But those skills are great. So nothing wrong like with that. Nothing to start. That's like your foray into understanding this digital world, making some money. On the other side of that one, you're building a living, breathing entity that can potentially exist without you.
Yes.
If I never sold Genius, we had it at the point where, there's 12 people running it. It's making $6-7 million a year. Like that was an asset. If I didn't sell it, it was still a level of freedom that didn't necessarily require my ongoing attention.
Yep.
And that's where wealth comes from, right? It's the same with like, you do sell that, you go buy, bonds that is literally zero work. And you're getting like a friend sort of pet business on Amazon, 600 million, like insane numbers.
What?
And yeah, insane. Zespan Pause. This is like one of the biggest Amazon leagues, 600 million, 610. And he, like he's kind of broke down his whole wealth thing. He gets $4 or $5 million a year in literally like dividend income,
Chilling.
and that's wealth.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, you don't see that on social media. You don't see that in Miami that much.
No.
Right. You see the guys putting half their net worth on a car to get the more views, and it was just fun.
Yeah.
But there's this, like, from my core message, like, let me get the attention and then try to put you on some real game because no one's been doing it.
True.
Right. And does that make sense? That dichotomy of
Of course. And even I want to touch on the affiliate side because what I've heard is like you don't even need to have millions of followers. Like you don't need to be a massive creator.
No, I forget. I got to clarify this. Influencers are damn near dead, like in the traditional sense. These are kids making brand new accounts. What people don't understand about TikTok, it's not Instagram where like rob the bank on Instagram matters.
Yeah.
All that matters on TikTok is views.
Yes.
And that's what Tate realized. That's what Belmar did well on the personal brand side. Dodsy does well. They don't care about anyone coming back to one key TikTok. They care about finding that viral clip that gets tens of millions of views and ultimately elevates their personal brand elsewhere.
Sure.
And so on the product side, these kids might make 10 accounts for 10 different brand new accounts.
Smart.
And then make one video. But that's the standard retainer we'll bring on any kid. Here's a couple $100.
Yeah.
You're going to make a video every day on a brand new account for 30 days. We'll analyze the end of that. First video, strike out, 7 million views.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden they're paid for herself.
And it's not even like that these creators have to pick some sort of niche
Model.
product. They can do a bunch. They can do one day a fitness product, one day, food. I don't know. They can do a bunch of stuff, right?
No, it really is like it's still work. Now, honestly, it's like terrible work. I keep at some of them.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, it is like one of the most lucrative start from nothing. Like some of your stories, Rob, are insane. Just to see some of these kids come through there. Like this girl, Sydney, she was working here at Chipotle 6 months ago. And last month, she probably made 100 from the brand. Went nuclear. Oh my God. And again, like it's interesting. This is a 20-year-old girl who has never had money before in her life. Right, so it's interesting to interact with them, and that's one of like the enjoyable things for me. That realize like, oh, I mean, I'm like OG now.
Yeah.
I still thought of myself as the kid until I'm like, oh wait, you know,
those are the kids.
Yeah, so well, all right, so you got 500 grand in your bank right now. I need you to know you owe 150 for your taxes.
Yep.
I need you to put that in just a some sort of high yield savings. That's good. You know what I mean? Like it's.
I think you being that figure for those kids, they'll never forget that for the rest of their life.
No, it's pretty fun, and hopefully they pass it forward. You know, and
that's the beautiful thing. And I'm sure you get so much fulfillment when you hear that, because there's a level of, you know, you get to a certain point, you have a lot of money, you have a lot of success. Where does the fulfillment come from? It comes from helping others rise up.
It comes from denting that culture, and it's provided. Like when you look at Rob the Bank is not Rob Oliver, but not a bad way. Rob the Bank is supposed to be just a symbol to every kid out there that's tired of others' expectations, that's tired of living for someone else. I just want you to see not getting a fuck results in a better life.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not afraid to dress the way I am. So I'm not. Like, I'll go on a board meeting with, you know, a $50,000 Pro March chain.
Yeah.
Like I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of having that money? Right? And that's what people don't understand either. You think when you make a certain amount of money, that need to appeal to others goes away.
No.
It doesn't. It gets worse.
It increases.
You didn't increase. You got billionaires now. You got the kind that
Because your rooms changed. The people in the room changed.
exactly. And so I'm drawing a level of inspiration from guys like Kanye, guys like Elon, like not to get into specific views, but just the true disregard for anyone else's opinion.
Well, I think once you see it working, you're like, okay, I'm just going to keep acting this way. That's the problem. People don't want to cross that first border of not giving a fuck. Because once you did the first time, you're like, oh, I didn't expect it to be like this. This is pretty dope.
But honestly, on the other side of that point is when it doesn't work.
True.
For every time it works, there's like, oh, what an idiot. But it's like, you know what, you got to be okay with that. Because again, you put that regret minimization framework and just death in perspective. It's like, who gives a fuck what Sally on the internet said about your post? Where, you know what I mean?
Of course. You can't give a fuck. And I think the problem with a negative with social media is that it increased that. People care even more what others think now. Right?
Oh, it's literally everyone lives every second of everyone's life.
All day, right? But I want to talk about the personal brand because I think that that's super important. We talk about it all the time. Super important. You see business guys that are 50 years old, they made 50 million, and they're like, fuck, I need a personal brand. No one even knows what the fuck I did the last 30 years, right? So you saw an opportunity there. And I really like how you're building a character around it. So talk about the character you're creating. You know, you went to TPT, got some grills, spending some money, you got the nice watch on. Who is this character really? And what goes into building out this character?
When you listen to me in this long form, that is who I am.
Yeah.
And the way content is made, it's artful.
Yep.
Right? So when you're looking at something like Instagram, there's pattern disruption, there's intention, there's like all these different things that go into succeeding on a platform like that. And when I say Rob the Bank was not Rob Oliver, that's not to say Rob the Bank isn't true and pure and truly an amplified version of the things I believe in my art and that I want to do.
Okay.
We just talked about fulfillment and denting culture and all of that, like these young kids, seeing it go to the next generation. There was a time, there are two daughters, where I was really upset with the world. Right, I think everyone felt that in those pandemic days, and just you're in Canada, right? Like,
Bad times, bro.
It didn't feel real. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel real. It was like my dad to this day has similar beliefs to me, but like refuses to believe that the world is the way it is.
Yeah.
And people are dying for it to go back to normal. Mm-hmm. It's not going back to normal. Yeah. And it's shot with it 20 years out, it will only get worse. Yeah. And this stuff ate me. Like it bothered me. That two little girls, how am I supposed to? And then eventually I woke up, I said, you know what? It's time to just fucking be the change. Make the dent. Yeah. You know, that's what you see guys like the gentleman who just got elected. You see the guy who bought the social media company. Yeah. Like that lack of getting a fuck and that belief in themselves is the answer. Yeah. And so I stopped caring and started working. Okay. Right. And that's kind of the center of all of it because I believe in entrepreneurial freedom. I believe in, drive from that perspective, like prosperity on the individual level. Like that's what makes the world better.
Of course.
Like, and so you said it. In fact, if I can inspire that next generation of kids, pass down some things to them, it's hacking their attention on the forefront of it because I love fashion. I love design. I'm going to use this social media thing to keep wiggling into the areas I want to. Right? Because wealth isn't influence or respect or any of it. So I'm going to keep doing that while seeing the impact it has here.
Yep.
And that's my entire framework. Yeah, it's calculated, it's intentional. And I think most people who start social media are afraid to say that.
Yeah.
Like, bro, it matters how you look.
Of course.
Like, period, right?
Of
Like,
course.
it's like, but that was like you said that 5 years ago. You're a narcissist, or you're this, or you're that. Like, people that are more attractive make 80% more money.
All the time.
So say the quiet thing out loud, and then keep building.
The people that don't accept that, they're just in denial. That personal brand doesn't work, right? And I've never seen someone do it as calculated as you, where you're saying, I'm building this character right now.
In public.
It's really cool.
And you have your pillars within. One of them, I see this with Elon, and I see this, you see with a lot of people. I have an obsession with truth.
Yeah.
I think when you operate in a place grounded in reality, life is much better.
Yeah.
And where people do that wrong is when life starts, they're not basing their assumptions on ground up, like things they know to be true.
Yep.
They're basing it on other people's perspective or other people saying why things are the way they are.
Yep.
So when you look at social media, it's like, hey, ground up. Like, you need to gather attention. You need to make people feel a certain way. You need to provide some level of value. You need the pieces, and then I'll build it ground up. I'm not going to go do this piece of content because Iman Godzi did it.
Yep.
I'm not going to dress like this. It's great validation for what the Iman go. He started out as a celebrity, bet on personal brand, and now you have an entire generation of 20-year-olds wearing Bruno Cucinelli, which is a 55-year-old wealthy dude. It works.
It's craziness.
It works.
Yep.
And but that's those ground up assumptions you need to build your own thing with.
Of course. And I think that people don't understand that you can use social media to build that character while you're building them. So for example, I always say this to people. If you want people to think that you're a chef, start posting reels every day of you cooking, show the recipes. In 1 month, people will just think that you're
a chef. That's the beauty. And take that one step further. What I love about this era is we get to become who we want to be. Like, if I want to be a fashion icon or a fighter or both, I get to work towards that every day as part of my job. Right? And that's this living for a living idea. Like Top Shelf, as much as driving some of the business kills me, and I don't like how it looks now, just wait in a year. You're going to see like a true luxury product in essence. And that's to me something that could potentially get me to Maris, and like using these things as vehicles and continue investing. Like $8,000 for a grail at TPT is hilarious.
It's amazing. I was like, you made me want to do it, bro.
Right? I love the shame about life.
Thank you.
For real, I live it. But on top of that, it's also an investment in me, the character. Like, you better believe, like, humans are not that complicated. We want what other people want.
Yes.
And you look at like top influencers and creators, like Kanye hacked this other thing.
Yeah.
And he brought it to business and it made him a billionaire before he said some things you can't say. But he was the first one to realize it. He goes, holy shit, I got so much influence and power. If I don't put my life in any outfit, the entire world is going to be dressing like that.
Yep.
Let me make the outfit and sell the laundry.
Well, I think what he did really well, and I think a lot of people miss out on this, okay? You yourself are a business. So as much as, okay, let's say I have a restaurant. Oh, my restaurant social media is so important. But how about yours? What happens when that restaurant closes? Then who are you? You were attached to that restaurant. Now the restaurant's gone.
And this is what
You are a
basics.
business.
People get so backwards on money. And it's been really nice for me to have excess money, to have solid business. So there's a lot of money coming in and going. But even for 2 years, I sold that business, but like double-digit millions sitting in the bank account, I was scarce with it. I didn't want to lose it. I was tight with it.
Wow.
And my life sucked for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, it actually sucked. Like, I learned all these analytical things, portfolio management, and how to be rich. And then when I said, fuck it, let me throw that money out there and see what comes back. Yeah. I have made dramatically more money in the last 2 years than any other time. And that's that true abundant nature where, I'm not telling you to be stupid.
No.
But these are investments in me. Like, these are investments in the flock. Like, when you die, you don't want to die with all this, numbers.
Yeah.
It's literally pointless. You gotta make sure my kids are good and that. But you better believe, like, I want to be a fashion week. You better believe I want the $2 million yacht at St. Bart's, on New Year's. Or maybe I don't, right? If I'm gonna go find out.
At least you have the option.
See those experiences, right?
Yeah.
And it's all good to life.
Dude, it's the personal brand side, I think, is huge. And I think, like I said, a lot of people miss out. You're doing a great job on it. That's how you're sitting there. That's how we found out about you. So maybe even for a little bit, just speak about the benefits that you've seen and the doors that have opened from your personal brand.
I wouldn't have met Jin without that. Was the start of like this Robin that character.
Okay.
And then the more I poured into that, it's like every good thing has gravitated from personal brand in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Right? Like one of my top marketing guys, the two of my best employees right now, like equity partners, are from $1 Million Brand Club, which saw me from social media.
Okay.
So it creates this magnetic flywheel of influence. Like there's gravity in it, right?
Well, it's magnetic because they know who you are. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I either like him or I don't. Yeah. So what I like to say too is personal brand is, it stops the conversation of who are you when you sit down with someone. Yeah. Because I've been following you for 6 months. I know who you are. When by the time we sit down, it's straight to business.
And you see it too, right? Like there's an amplified, optimized social media version of it, but it's not different.
Yes.
So that's when sometimes I've started to push back. Like some people go, oh, Rob's a great guy, it's just a character. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, but that character is me, just to be clear. Yeah. And you don't like one of the flashpoints because that is social media. You're trying to draw emotion. Yep. And we are not going to have 10 out of 10 opinions that agree. So you see that one on, you know, my relationship or this or that, what makes you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
But that still is me. This is the life I'm living. This is the book that I'm having the courage to put out there.
Of course. And I think that's where people stop when they're like, I just don't have that courage right now.
Because one more time, when you think about the world, and it's like one of the key things I try to instill in people, Canada's a great example. I used to go up to Whistler. I used to go up to Vancouver. It was like the alternate moderate place. So Canadians were so chill. Nobody gave a fuck, right? Like it was almost like serious. I said,
oh, that was so nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Like have another, soup ice cream, or whatever. Yeah. And then over the last couple of years, it's become a testing ground for a new political agenda. Yeah. And it's intensified. And some people want things to go back the way they were. More importantly, they cling to that. They have that in their mind. It's 10, 15 years before they realize, like,
it's not happening.
We're meeting somewhere it's entirely different.
Yep.
And so it's the ones that have the courage to come buy a place in Miami and start splitting their life that capitalize on the change.
Of course.
Right? And it's very uncomfortable because you look at the entire West, that's happening.
I know.
It just is. Like wherever we're at in the cycle doesn't really matter. It's just having that courage to say, you know what? The world I grew up in is not going to be the world my daughters grew up in.
Yeah.
And so what are the right alternatives? Where's the money being made? How does the business need to be run? And the set that people can let go of what is to pursue what's going to be. I told you about that gift. We're seeing just a couple of years out. That's all the money's made. Yeah. And everyone has that, but they have to let go of the previous box that the world was built in.
And I think it has to do a little bit too, in Canada, I see it a lot, victim mentality. Yeah. Just being a victim. Yeah. Oh, the world changed and it's not, I want it to go back to, no, I'm not going to start something till it goes back. Yeah. I knew when the pandemic hit, that was a permanent change to the world. Yep. I knew it. Yep. And I said, I'm out of here. Yep. Let's go. Yep. This is and if we never came to Miami, nothing would have happened.
Oh, then once I was in Seattle, 27 years, all my family was there, never thought I'd leave. And this is like the world being dominated by unforeseen events.
Yeah.
Because within 2 years now, I'm 9 hours away from all my loved ones on a little island.
Yeah.
Because I realized they're coming for everything. And you better stack away as much as possible and pay as little tax as possible.
Dude.
And find free one.
I said that to Anthony, my partner. I said, dude, this just means we have to make as much money as possible, as fast as possible. Because we can't let external factors in the world that continue to happen affect us.
And I will see what we're passionate on that too. It gets overestimated in the short term.
Sure.
And underestimated in the long term.
Yep.
Like some of the, aggressive taste stuff, all the red pills, like the world's ending now. And it's not.
Yeah.
But it will over the next 10 years.
Yep.
Like, these will continue to rise.
Yep.
And so don't operate from a place of, it kind of hurt me to see how many people replaced victim mentality with the matrix as their oppressor.
True.
You know what I mean? Like you live in this era where they blow a clone up and do $1 million a month. The matrix isn't stopping.
Yeah.
It's stopping you if you're getting 10 billion views a month and don't have the right message.
Yep.
But hey, kids sitting in Arkansas with, a laptop doing push-ups, go make a couple $1 million.
Yep.
Right? And so I'm true to that. I think it's the best time to be alive regardless.
100%. And like I said, the victim stuff is what I see most of the time. Yeah. And it's kind of just like, when we made the move, we just said, bro, if we don't do this, no one's doing this for us. No one cares about us if we succeed or not. You really got to put yourself in that position. No one gives a fuck It's you against the world. Let's make it happen. Personal brand wise, because I even have this problem. How are you managing creating the content for your personal and still being able to attend to everything else that you're doing?
The key to life, the key to scale, the key to freedom, the key to accomplishing a multitude of goals is really good people.
Yeah.
And it's really hard because I'm a doer. Like I want to be there pressing the buttons.
Okay.
And at a certain point, you realize there's too much work to be done. Like Rob the Bank is a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Nonstop Ventures is a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Top Shelf is a multi-million-dollar brand. So how about all of these things? And it's about culturally, this is where I ended it. You can create a culture around you of how people should think, act, and behave. Okay. We're not like in a box, but like, creating the environment for people to think free and like attract the right type of people to your organization. Okay. People that take extreme ownership of a lot of the things you talk about in life. And you bring that from the top down. Okay. And you plug in talent in areas where they're good. Like I have a guy focused purely on AI. He loves it. He's all autistic as fuck, right? No, you have to be. Mm-hmm. And I do it in the freedom where I'm not micromanaging him. I would have these expectations that, I need a return tomorrow. Yeah. But I'm giving him the space and I know he's working. I know he's committed and I know he's like living fulfilled doing it. Yeah. And so the more you can stack in people, the further you can go. Because there's no other way. And so like my personal brand, there's 6 editors. We're trying to count the YouTube now. Each channel is its own, study.
Business. It's almost its own business. It really is. Yep.
It really is. And so, I still do a lot of the things myself. Like I like coming up with ideas sometimes. But sometimes I gotta die. Like my most viral video last month was another autistic kid, Recognized autism makes the world go around.
Yo, they know what they're doing, bro. But I think you said something important too. You said trust.
Trust, yeah.
And that's huge. Because you can have a team as much as you want, but if you don't trust them and you're micromanaging, boom, 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 you're not gonna get nothing done. And that's something that we've been learning too over, you gotta give the trust to them, give the creative ability to them, let them fly with it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
But it's really hard.
Of course, because they're your babies though. These are your brands that are your babies too.
And not only that, but 9 out of 10 people are gonna suck. Yeah. So I have no problem saying that. Like you're gonna miss more times than not. Genius was successful, and I was kind of blessed with like learning how to manage this at the higher all my basketball teammates. Wow. But where we had the same cultural approach, and we took all that, like we were a bit deep. Yeah. We took that to the business thing. And we didn't know that much about business or e-commerce, but like the mentality, the camaraderie, the approach is all there. Yep. And it's been more difficult scaling at this level where it's like, okay, and I'm losing a recruiter and trying to filter people's like, what's your EQ, what's your political views? Like that stuff matters.
Of course.
And
it's almost like the skill comes last. Yeah. Because you can teach them.
Oh, but I would rather teach, exactly.
So you're looking for the type of person and then you're saying the skills are going to change the next 5 years anyways. Exactly. So let me teach you as we go. As long as I know you're a solid person who believes our culture, fits in with the team, let's do it. Exactly. Amazing. Exactly. So before we get into another thing I want to get into, you mentioned your father. Congratulations. How has that affected your path and your motivation and the way you think about things?
It's strange. And I don't know. We have to go to therapy and so on.
We talk about it a lot because I want to be a father, so I always like asking these questions. Like, how did it impact you? Did it make you want to go harder? Did it make you not care about certain things anymore and care about this more? Like, what happened in your mind? Because you're a young father.
Being a dad forces you to be introspective. Mm-hmm. So the initial response is able to run it up so high that I'm protected. Like, these girls have everything they want, and I'm protecting them and all this stuff. And you go, wait a second, what if I'm not spending time with it? Yeah. And then you think about like, you go out of Miami and you see these girls like a Birkin bag equals whatever you want from, right? And then you go, wait a second. I didn't spend 2 weeks with my daughter, and all of a sudden, I just want to bring her back a toy from Amazon. Wait a second, am I training that behavior? Mm-hmm. The answer is yes. Wow. Right? So like, okay, no, there's not much money we have. So it's an interesting game of introspection because it makes you feel all these emotions. Like other people are dependent on you more so than ever. Yeah. More so than like employees even, right? And take that personally, and it does drive you, and it gives you a level of like, I think at the center of all of it, the beautiful part, Eminem is the best example of this. True. Eminem went on this generational run, like of masterpiece after masterpiece. the weave from, you know, Slim Shady LP or wherever to Eminem's show. It was like a 10-year run of, he was damn near Michael Jackson level.
Yeah,
and he's on drugs and his life was a mess. And that's what it required to make this good music. And he talks about it and you realize like, you know, Kim, the baby mom wasn't there. His daughter and Eva. And that man got sober and the music was never the fucking same. And Haley Mathers, miraculous. Eminem that talks about killing his baby mom in songs.
Yeah.
It's all out there.
Yeah.
His daughter is a normal functioning human in society.
Yeah.
And I think being a father gives you that North Star. Like you're never going to get too far off knowing we need to be for the people that need you.
No, it makes complete sense. You have more people counting on you and there's pressure.
Yeah.
There's pressure. And I feel like that pressure can either allow you to grow like it did for you. It could also go the other way sometimes too, if you don't have the right headspace.
That's where people have gotten real fucking pathetic and soft. Like, I wish I could put hands on every single one of them. It is that pressure that dads run from, that they're not present from.
Okay.
That when you talk about all those drowning out, like the normal stuff in society where we're gonna die and then, you know, you numb yourself. Dads do that nowadays, and it's super fucking acceptable.
Yeah.
Right? They chase the next thing, they pay their child support, they whatever.
Yeah.
They totally ignore the fucking responsibility that they brought into the world.
Yeah.
And those are the people like, bro, they need to be fucking put in jail for a little bit. Like some dramatic shit needs to happen.
There has to be a
because
consequence for that.
It has to. It's just making the world so much worse. Or you should have to pass a test to have children.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, because to think about that responsibility, but they have the choice to pass on it. And most people don't do it. You didn't used to do that. It was so culturally unacceptable, but now it's become culturally acceptable. And the means of numbing yourself, right? Like all these people, whether it be drugs, whether it be partying, whether it be whatever, it's abundant. Mm-hmm. And so the end result is kids not having dads.
Yeah.
And it's literally ruining the world.
It's sad to see. It's happening more than ever. But you mentioned something too. Did you ever have, before I get into more of the business stuff, did you ever have moments where you turned to addiction?
I think we all have vices.
Yeah.
I think we have vices.
Because you're pretty dialed in, bro, from what I see. And to be able to be this successful, you have to be dialed in. But I feel like we all have those moments.
Yeah, my biggest thing by far, I mean, I'll keep it under. Like I just like to do that. I have a little less addiction.
Yeah.
Like for sure. For sure. Like sex, women.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of that online. I'm at a place with my life where it's like I'm allowed to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I've realized over the last year, like that is by far the thing that could stop me from getting where I want to go.
Wow.
That makes sense. Like
No,
everyone has that. And for me, it's not drinking, it's not drugs, but there's like that. Oh, women could be a huge problem.
Yeah.
It's weird being on this end of it because I've been with my wife for 13 years, and for 7, 8 of those, it was like boring, straight laced, right? And we've had more fun the last couple of years. For me and for sure, the social media stuff, all that, and just understanding. But then you realize that, that's some of those vices that could cripple you.
Yeah.
But then again, that's something that you look at through the lens of being a father and responsibility, and like that starts to give you a level of perspective. Yeah. Alignment. I've never said that on my show.
Well, listen, I think people think it's really taboo. We've had people on the show. We had Sugar Shan. He's in the same position. He's kind of open relationship. Yep. And I think people just can't believe it when they hear that, right? And but what I'm starting to notice is that it's hyper successful men that are in those kind of situations.
And it's not his wife wasn't stupid.
No.
Yeah, he obviously that's starting. It's very common actually around money and like at certain levels. And sometimes it's open. It's like my wife partner everything. I ever detail my life.
And doing that didn't dampen your relationship with her.
Made it stronger, oddly. But maybe it's starting to affect me, right? Like, you know what I mean? Really, which is weird because, but again, this is that introspective dynamic that emerges when you have kids. You have to look at like the bigger picture. These are my goals. I mean, I'll be straight up. Like this last relationship thing I had, this one girl, I was like, yo, you got a drug problem. She looks at me and she goes, because there's other stuff that comes with less addiction. Yeah. She looks at me, she goes, you got a woman problem. Yeah, I never heard that. And I was like, ooh, yeah, maybe I do. I lost for a life. So, yeah, woman problem? She definitely have a woman problem. I was like, I didn't know that about myself.
Yeah. Sometimes you're caught up.
And you're just like,
I
I
don't
don't know.
even-
We're all kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the outside, a lot of the time, like it becomes easy to see stuff in people, or maybe it doesn't. But us living our life, especially the stuff we don't talk about, like it's like therapeutic for you to say that.
Yeah.
Like my mom will see that and she'll go, "Fuck you, son."
My mom would say the same if I said that. Yeah.
And it's hard, but at the same time, it's like the more you are willing to live in truth.
Yep. Facts.
The more you live in truth, the better your lesson to get.
Well, how many relationships you see they just start cheating on each other? It's just it ends up worse than if they just had a conversation like you probably did with your partner.
So this is how it all started. When we talk about the world changing and breaking down, it's not the 50s.
Yeah.
It's not like the guy could go work his factory job and the woman could still raise the kids. And so again, the mom is a super rational person. You start looking at it round up.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, what does the model for marital success look like in this melting fucking world?
Yep.
Because on top of there being more opportunity than ever, like there's a aggregation of resources. Like the guys that get it are going to get it.
Yep.
Right? And then the other 99% of guys are fucking porn addiction.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's fucking pathetic.
I know.
And so it creates kind of the women out there creates this other dynamic, right? Well, all of a sudden, there's only a handful of desirable guys for all these girls.
Yeah.
And where I'm going to talk about the behaviors that start occurring with the girl, it's trying to up in a whole another.
That's another episode we're gonna do, bro. we'll do a whole episode on that, like male and female roles and stuff like that. Like we talk about that a lot.
A whole
Because
that one
times have
change. Got a whole Freudian notebook on that.
Bro, we can go crazy on it, but I'm happy you're being transparent about it because I think a lot of people aren't. And like you said, the world's changing, so you have to accept it instead of being in denial, right? We're gonna talk about something else now. Love that chat though. I feel like we could talk all day about that. I want to bring up a video that you did. It was about side hustles and businesses, okay? Because I want to talk about what people should look forward to or avoid going into 2025. So this was a really cool video. You were ranking businesses and side hustles. I really liked it, really enjoyed it. So I want to go through each one and kind of do it a little bit again and just have you rank them so that our audience knows, okay, maybe I should tap into that, maybe I should avoid that, okay? If you want, if you want, go crazy. Number one, we'll talk about drop shipping, which again is something that you see online. I'm making 10 million on drop shipping. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Is the time over for drop shipping? Where do you rank this?
Dropshipping is always, to me, been like a kind of a fool's business model.
Okay.
And so you look at the things that I just talked about with like building brand equity and building a real company. And then you go to the dropshipping side of that. It's not dead because that same TikTok strategy I just told you, like that's reignited the ability to dropship.
Okay.
But do you want to put all your eggs in a basket that it provides nothing? Like why would you not just go be a creator making the money off making the videos?
And building a brand at least.
And before, like, if you're just after income, because there's no equity being built in dropship.
Okay.
You know, what I mean, it is pure X's and O's. Like you find that product, you try to make it go viral, or you run ads, and whatever's left is the difference.
Okay.
Right, and that's what you make. No one is going to acquire that company.
Yeah.
Like there's no IP. There's no, and then eventually 20 other people are going to sell that same product. It got harder. You're done. Dropshipping shops saturated.
Okay.
So in and of itself, like the business model is just dramatically flawed.
Okay.
And that's why I put it towards the bottom of that list. I just think it's one of the last things you should do. And on top of that, every fucking stupid kid with a Lambo on Twitter who's saying they make all this money on dropshipping, they're making all of their money on the course. These are super common knowledge in the e-com world, right? But the problem is you're a 15-year-old kid who wants to make money online. He sees the 17-year-old kid with the Lambo who's living the school life, making the school videos, and go dropship.
Wow.
The smart ones go course. You know? But that's why I have an issue with that. It's not to say people don't make money. It's not to say there's not softwares or guys like Jordan Welsh are interesting that have made that their whole thing.
Well, now he's diving into he's more into the content side.
It was always more into the final,
I
right?
know.
Like the YouTube channel and this acquisition was even because of the ability to make the content. So I work I don't like to put things in buckets of it's a scam or this or that, but it's like a D business model.
Okay.
So not what we should start.
Putting that
at
at D.
Yeah,
Both start there,
I
guys.
can't remember all the scores, but I did not like dropship.
No, you gave it a D.
It was, right?
You nailed it. Yeah. Remote closing, which I hear a lot about as well. I've never dived into it, but we have some closers for us too that do some stuff for us. What do you think about that?
I think it's very lucrative, just off the math. And if you have a certain personality type, I believe it was a B plus.
You gave it an A. Yeah.
You just think about it. If you're that guy who fits the Wolf of Wall Street archetype, where you're like, you're gonna hit the gym and then you're gonna drink 6 espressos, and you're gonna work the fucking phone, you're gonna go get it.
Yeah.
Like if that's your entry, if you're that person, and your entry point is looking to make as much money as possible, it's that, because sales has always been lucrative.
Sure.
Like, Kira, I don't think most of those guys need to go pay a coach.
Yeah.
I just don't. Like, I think it's like very.
It's just reps.
I think it's reps, and it's learning people, and it's like drive. You know, like I have 2 really good sales guys, and I think I talked about that in the video. That's it. I have 2 for my but that shows like quality, right? We have our protocol and stuff, but they make really good money.
You put it A tier, and I think that even gaining knowledge in sales is something you could take with you throughout your whole life. You're selling yourself all the time.
100%. At a
Right,
window
so-
under psychology too.
I like that one. And $0 to start.
$0 to start. Love
that.
that.
Really give that a
So with that, with drop shipping, right? And it's just like,
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Copywriting, which is an interesting one. And I think that that's recent as well. Like the way that people are making money copywriting now.
Mason, really, Mason. I've heard of him.
I've
Bruce
heard
in
of him.
Charlotte too.
Oh, shit.
You guys sync on PJ. He flies private all the time.
Damn, we should get him on the pod.
Yeah, he's great. He's super cool.
Okay, cool.
Great kid. But he's blown that up because it is a twofold. It's an interesting way into making money online. You're not going to get rich. Okay. Like, period. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get a couple finds.
Okay.
It's not super lucrative.
Okay.
But what I love about copywriting is the insight into human behavior in this digital world. Like, Gina succeeded because of my copyright. Wow. You know, like just the ability to communicate this product to people. It's like super powerful no matter how you look at it.
Right.
And when I look at copyright now too, it's evolving. Like there's AI and there's these different things. But I think it's just a really interesting place to set a foundation of skills, like a baseline. You know, like just let's be clear, you're not going to get rich. It's not going to be a long-term thing, but you're setting yourself up with good skills. Of
course.
Yeah.
And I think being able to communicate a message is huge.
Remember even what I said earlier, right? That one video on my IG that was super viral, I didn't write.
Okay.
Someone scripted that. So it's a copyright.
Wow.
It was so powerful. Like if you had that level of ability, I think you could keep doing that. Yeah. You could make multiple 7 figures pocket. True. But
and it's not, like you said, it's an easy place to start, make a couple grand. Maybe you're using that money to actually start another business or do something else, right? And great skills that you're going to learn. A, you gave that an A.
That good? Yeah. For that reason, I didn't really stand on it. Yeah.
SaaS. SaaS is a super difficult one. I was in the SaaS game earlier on. Got out. It's too hard.
And I tried to start one too, which gives a bad taste in my mouth. Like it's weird seeing it popularized, like no code SaaS, as that sexy thing with ChatGPT. Yeah, it's been strange. In my opinion, changed some of this a little bit. I've met a couple people that are doing pretty well. What did I get it? Like a C or?
You gave it a C, and you said it's because it's very difficult, man. Like you're going for glory if you get it, but it's very difficult.
Like even one of my friends who I've talked to, he said I did that, who's in Arizona, and basically they have like would you consider apps SaaS?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And he has a whole they have 11 apps now, and they've done like 11 or 12 million. But it's like 2 million MRR a month, like a big number.
Okay.
And even then, he's only paying himself $1,000 a month, and took him 2.5 years to get there.
But the costs are probably so high too.
The cost is super. Like on those big numbers, the profit's not there. Yeah. And it was hard. And he wouldn't be going to pop TikTok. Like it's just not super sexy.
I feel like it's a whole other game plan. Like, you got to raise money, probably get a whole team, developers, and it takes time, right? Being a YouTuber, here we are on YouTube. What do you think about that?
I mean, I like selfish shit. I love it, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of what did I give that? You have to remind me.
You gave that a C.
I think that's one of those ones. I think a lot of kids pursue that as a career without the.
It's tough, bro. Yeah, it's just another outlet that you're building. You should have something else besides it, I would say.
No, exactly.
Like you're doing, right? Like even us, we don't make money on YouTube. YouTube is nothing.
No, it's a nice piece of the equation. But to say I want to be a YouTuber, like all those big YouTube guys that first pioneered as careers, most of them have quit or flamed.
Well, because the money's not there anymore. They're not paying the same.
And then the work relative to that too, right? Like the art goes away. Like what makes most of these people good is the artistry.
Of course.
Or you run out with a business like Jake Tran, where it's like, I'm gonna systematize.
Well, faceless, and that's a whole other game plan, right? Which I like that actually. I love the faceless. I love the faceless. I think starting a YouTube, I mean, you should use it as a way to help your main businesses and build your personal. Like that's how that's. I think you gave it a C, and I think that's fair. Social media marketing, which is interesting because I have an agency for that. You gave it a B.
Yeah, I think the context of like what you're doing in particular, like, well, my internet history is blurry. Like those first 5 years when Ty Lopez was making money videos, I was on social media.
Yeah.
I wasn't on social media. Like I missed all that. I was building Genius, like heading the same. I didn't know people were selling Amazon IBA. Wow. But seriously, I was so like in my little building.
Yeah.
So I've come out of it like on the other side, kind of looking back. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the original social media marketing pitch was like, we're gonna find local businesses and right?
Yep.
And like I hate that. Yeah. I just hate it for so many reasons.
Okay.
Like yeah, I think if you're gonna do any sort of agency, I think having some sort of alpha, which like Jimmy with Creators Corner and all these creators, he largely led the agency. Okay. But it's so effective, you can generate so much money. The question then becomes like, well, if you're so good, why aren't you doing it yourself? Sure. And he is so good that he has that equipment. He has that so I think that's the way to do agency.
Like just if you know how to do it for yourself.
Yeah, right. Or you could do it for others, for like really have that sauce.
Listen, it's very difficult. I'll say it on my end because like we have an agency, and the reason we're successful is because we focus on marketing our agency. Yeah. All these agencies out there, they're like, oh, I can market your product, so why aren't you marketing your agency? Yeah. So we did that, and we started with a pretty big network as well, and that's why it's been able to be successful.
Do you like the business? Is it a good business?
I'm not very involved anymore, but dealing with clients is a headache. I love my clients if anyone's watching. But you're dealing with people. You're dealing with people, bro. And it's tough. But what I will say is that the more you focus on your brand as an agency, the higher ticket clients come, and then they're actually breaking your balls less.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is amazing.
No, right? This isn't social media agency anymore, but bro, when I say this becomes super premium, I paid a brand agency $220,000. That's about and those are the types of agencies where it's like, okay, these are crazy creative,
So we're going that route. We're trying to just be that big agency that has top clients, right? It's been working for us, but again, it's hard work
to do it. It's more sophisticated. It's not. But when you're talking to the kid getting in the game, we like, I don't.
No, that's very difficult. That's very difficult because businesses now will just say, well, I'll just do it myself. I'm already on Instagram all day too. Okay, you gave that a B. That's fair. I think it's fair. Might even go lower, to be honest, for someone that's just trying to start a business. Amazon FBA. We talked a lot about this.
In what context, right?
Because it's weird. Yeah, you gave it an A and then an F as well.
I was disgusted when I found out how Amazon FBA was pitched. Okay. Like when I first started talking about hey, I got on social media pretty blind. It's like, hey, I built the Genius brand, used Amazon FBA. People are like, Amazon FBA is saturated. Amazon FBA is scam. I'm like, scam? And all the while, I'm coming out with new products. We're not, like I said, it wasn't the golden era anymore, but we're still doing well. Yeah. And there's other people doing super well, right? A good example, new supplements are blowing up every day. Colostrum is something no one knew of a year ago. Okay. And now the top colostrum brand on Amazon is doing $4 million a month. Wow. And so it's that's all Amazon FBA. Here's 600 or 100 plus million prime shoppers running about it. Okay. So in that sense, it's the best thing in the world. Okay. You're even brand. You need customers comfortable buying your stuff. If you can navigate that algorithm, they are one click away from buying your stuff, and the conversion is, it's 10, 12% versus Shopify, 1.5%. Okay. It's the math is beautiful. But when you talk about the old way of people pitching Amazon FBA, which was basically find an opportunity and go buy this shit in China and throw it up in there and we'll crash it into that.
Yeah.
But that did probably work in 2012, 2013. Mm-hmm. Not in any meaningful way. No one's cashing those out. Okay. But that is so gone. Yeah. And then even the arbitrage stuff where now people are doing this wholesale thing. I'm going to go buy Nike and flip it. Yeah, horrible business. Really horrible. Okay. It's and most of those guys are dying right now too because Amazon put some new restrictions on there. That some of those guys, old gurus, are talking to me about doing brand stuff. Wow. That should tell you that model. But even now, you look at it, it's why would you go spend 10 grand to buy an Nike inventory to hope that you can make $1 a unit without Amazon not, like,
Yeah, eventually the Amazon's gonna say something.
the asymmetry is just fucked. Why would you risk 10 grand to make a rank? True. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always looking for, let me risk 3 grand to make, that's how we should look at life. Like those asymmetric returns. And all the other ways of Amazon are trash.
Wow. Okay. You guys heard it. A school community, which I actually have as well. I love school personally. You said great things about it. What do you think about the communities?
I think on this one I was Bashar and Hamza.
Yeah, you did a little bit of both. Yeah.
I didn't even know who he was. I thought that's good. Yeah, you're a successful adult. Right? No more need there. I think any MRR subscription-based stuff, the value is phenomenal. Value. With value is phenomenal. Like, we have one called Your First Dollar.
Sick.
Because Jimmy's, it's the creator stuff. Like, you're starting with nothing. Jimmy's program's a couple grand. $1 Million Brand Club is expensive. You follow me, you're trying to figure this out. $50 a month and part of this. Really, we can fish it out. Yeah. And it was less about the money of the MRR. Because we do make some money there. Yeah, but for me, I'm trying to get as many affiliates as possible doing this. So it's kind of a pipeline for that. And I don't think just giving it away because people that get free stuff are like literally the work. Like, yeah. So I think that business model is beautiful. And I know people that run really strong discords of like, millions of dollars of MRR, but the key is value. At the center of it.
School's really cool. I've been liking it, and I think even if you're someone like yourself with a lot of value, it's something that is great to build on the side while you're building your personal and brands, because it's growing with you, kind of.
Like platform school is
I think it can be way better.
Way better, man. They're missing out on so many things. Like, there's no affiliates for school.
Like, you can't have affiliates for
your... WAP for it. Yeah.
That is insane.
And on the other side of the coin, you got WAP, who...
WAP is doing well.
WAP's going to be down there, but bust. I was just there.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going super hard right now.
They're going so hard. They raise money. They're going for it.
Yeah.
And they have the vision.
Yeah.
Like, they were never lost some of the affiliates on.
Well, I think they're tapped into the culture too. I see them putting out content on YouTube. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with... They're just putting out content, showing off their network, stuff like that. Really cool. School community, if you have value, or any communities, to be honest. TikTok shop. That's S tier, baby. Come on.
That's A+.
It is on both sides. Yeah. As a creator, like my roadmap, my advice to the young creators, because a lot of them follow me and they're like, do you want to create brands? I say, your skills are crazy. Like that kid who blew up Love Bomb, who made, who did $500,000 in sales for me, I paid him 40 grand or whatever. I say, don't take your eye off the ball on being the best creator ever. Because that ability to go viral is just, it's ridiculous.
Based on the algorithm.
And to know the algorithm like that, and it's insane. So I say, don't take but you want to eat the equity side too, right? Mm-hmm. So he'll make $1 million this year as an affiliate. I say, don't stop doing that and go start a brand. It's hard. You're going to spend 4 months getting it from the ground up. The sacrifice of that sure money is close to zero. Instead, use that skill to take 20% of one of these brands in my community. Or in his case, like we're building one for him. He's going to take, he's investing a little chunk.
True.
And that would be his way of sitting adapted.
Okay, so him, for example, how many followers does he have?
Bro, they're like that. The brand we see him equity on, that will be a new account with 0 followers.
But you just know he's going to hit it.
He's going to hit. That's what they do.
So people don't follow like creators and say like, oh, I like this guy because like I like all the products that he promotes. It's not like that.
Luis, nobody knows.
Wow.
Like he's on my IG. I tagged like Luis. He's the fucking man.
Yeah.
Best dude ever. Mm-hmm. Don't look like an influencer. On TikTok, it's like 20 different Luis accounts. Some are faceless. Yeah. That's the thing too. A lot of the time you're not showing your face. Sometimes it's like forever. There's a run of AI where it would be like, someone's holding the camera, product season, there's a voice over it, like a lot of different ways to succeed.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I love it if I was starting off, I'd probably do that, man.
But the weird thing too is like we're on the other side of 30 and it comes so natural to these students.
I know.
Like Jimmy he's like, yeah, man, I remember making TikToks in high school. Damn. I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, oh, it was crazy. I'm like,
while we had our flip phones, bro, that's what we were doing. That's what we were doing. Okay, we'll end it there because there's a few others, but I think that those are really key, the ones that we've talked about. Okay, we're gonna do a little rapid fire though, because I'm interested in some of these answers. Biggest business mistake?
Growing too fast, not managing cash flow, No, she's just like, oh, look at me, I'm so good. But when you're building a brand or something, profit isn't necessarily in the bank accounts. Profit loss on balance sheet. And when you're growing, you owe, you're placing a PO for 100,000 minutes. You owe that money maybe before that money gets there. And so at one point, I was asked backwards on credit card, like 250 some thousand. And it's like a 24-year-old.
Holy shit.
Shout out INX for getting a 24-year-old, 250,000.
They'll give it if they think you could pay
They
it.
will. You're surprised at that's a whole other subject.
Yep.
But that was my first mistake. I had to get this like bridge loan and it was real gross, but I made it.
Okay.
Most expensive thing you own?
My life. my
Should've
wife,
said your
my
brand.
wife,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
kids.
There you go, your family.
Most expensive. I'm on real estate. I own a house in Puerto Rico. We're trying to sell it right now. It's $12 million.
Like, trying to get out of there?
I'm trying to sell that one. Try about there.
Minor, what you said.
Who's the smartest person you know?
Well, what pops to mind is this gentleman, Randy, my mentor from the private equity world. Like, he's one of the guys that came in when Genius was acquired. Okay. He got IQ, like, through the charts. I got a billionaire mentor, too. I'll say his name. Also, very intelligent guy, like, second generation wealth.
Okay.
And has managed it, like, flawlessly.
Yeah.
Both of those guys top of mine.
Sound like some solid guys, bro. What's your single biggest money-making tip?
I got two.
Okay.
Two big money making tips. I think this is the foundation. Find asymmetric upside in everything you do. If you're looking at magic internet money, aka Bitcoin in 2012, and someone tells you about this and explains it and says this thing that you can buy for a fraction of a penny is meant to be an alternative currency that world banks no longer have to be part of. That's probably stupid. But you know what? Here's $100 in it.
The upside's crazy.
Because if that did work, it's a multi-trillion-dollar thing. So seek asymmetric things and don't be afraid to bet on. All the people that make money in the housing market crash were the ones that found that asymmetric upside. John Paulson, another billionaire, runs the place where I'm at. We're friendly with him. And that was his thing. He was like, I bought these insurance claims, and they were so cheap relative to the extreme payout of, he said, I don't know for sure the housing market would pop, but I'm betting $1 to potentially make $1 million.
Yeah.
And so find values. And then the second would be seek alpha in all business models. Okay. That's like even this up. It's not about the right product to sell. It's not about this or that. It's like the method. Like, when do those windows exist? Where I tell you, in 2012, I could put anything on Amazon and made millions of dollars. Wow. Spend all your time finding the things, right? Like, right now it's TikTok. We're seeing this, God bless you. But it's people chase all these other, like, little weird intricacies of, like, how they think they're going to make money or, like, scale. And so at the end of the day, find the cash-generating alpha.
Yep.
And then learn how to build the machine around it.
Love that. What's one thing you wish... No. What's one thing you wish you knew about building brands before you started building brands?
Humans are way more emotional than they are rational. There's a thing called the Vevin effect. I just like sprinkling sauce here. And it's all luxury goods. Like, they ascribe to this. Chrome Arts as a logo is powerful because it signals you in society is that we can take the same tank top that cost me $5 from Hanes, and I can put a Chrome Arts logo on it, and it is now worth $950. People can say stupid, this, that, or whatever, but that's the emotional components of humans and their desire to fit in. So throw all the rational shit away. Like, don't come at it like, okay, this product's $49.99. If I sell it for $44.99, they will buy mine. Humans aren't that.
Yeah.
They're emotional. They're complex. They want to fit into tribes. And I wish I understood that better early on.
That's a good point. What's the most outrageous purchase you've made?
It's been quite a year.
Like something that you never thought you would have bought.
Most outrageous purchase. I mean, like, the real, I'm going to say the dollar amount's not crazy, $8,000. I bought, $150,000 watch. Probably Chrome Heart jeans. If you went about 2 years ago, my friend bought me a pair of $30,000 jeans. So I didn't buy it, so I don't think I had that in me.
30 G's for
30
jeans?
G's for jeans.
What do they do?
They get you more views.
There you go.
And then you go sell them off full.
They had some jets attached to them or something flying around, 30 G's.
Yeah, this is all about the social media game. Like, you have to figure out how to make it sustainable and scaled.
Yeah.
And so you literally look at that. It's like, okay, if I bought these jeans and I do a video that gets the 500,000 views, so let's say it's low, and then I flip them and I could still, maybe I make more on some of these things.
Yeah.
But let's say I make 28 grand.
Yeah.
$2,000 for 500,000 views of like.
It's good. Yeah. It's a good deal. It's a good deal.
And so, but I'd say those are probably the most outrageous things.
If you were starting today, what would you rather focus on? A personal brand or an actual business?
Actual Doesnt.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you did it anyways. Then you came out with the personal brand, right?
Yeah, it hurts me watching a lot. And this isn't, I don't want to put this in a backbeat.
Yeah.
Some people have a creative spark and like, that's something they want to do.
Okay.
But when I look at like a business stuff in particular, like it kills me, these Josh Chicken bits.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is how you do that. You know, like they're all personal. And in 12 to 24 months, they'll be dead from that with no actual, business credentials. True. And I just think, like I said, this is like such a beautiful time to be building. Do that. The creators of Jimmy's thing ask them that all the time. Like the one who's doing making $1 million. He started that one personal brand. And I'm like, good, that's some value to provide to the world.
Yeah.
Be strategic. Understand what it takes to actually do it, right? Like to actually put that burden on of you're going to post content X amount of times. You're going to do this. You're going to open yourself up to the world. Like, are you ready for that? Mm-hmm. But then, yeah, definitely have the credentials and the realness to seek.
Okay. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Best advice. Probably nothing is permanent, which is like a disgusting thing. If you really think about it, is we cling to that, our relationships and our success and this and that. And everything turns to dust. And it's when on a more deep level, that type of conversation, you have to get to feel that statement. It's not profound. Of course. But I would say that. And then you want to get tactical. It's things like seek the asymmetric upside. That was advice given to me. And it's like, take 90% of your money, be safe as possible. Don't lose it.
Yeah.
Take 10%. Take extreme bets, and we're gonna outperform the guy that puts all his money in S&P and like true. It's true. Yeah. So
taking the risk.
This is the last one. Is there someone you wish was here today to see your success?
Yeah, I'll try like almost here. That should be pretty proud. But that was the start I could do. Like generational changes. For every struggle my dad had, I know that his mom and their world, being 13, 14, she hadn't learned it officially. But, like raging out ball, grandpa used to beat the shit out of like, I know she would be super proud. So she loved that. Or she loved to see my dad get him from like, literal dirt to like stable and like solid. And I think she would just, she was already seeing it like right before she kind of died or she was proud, but to see it like to that scale, especially with all the fun stuff too, we should really appreciate it.
Well, I'm not sure how religious you are, but she's here with us, bro, and she's proud of you.
Yeah, for sure.
She's gonna be always with you, bro.
For sure.
Okay, one thing we do on the show is we have you manifest something. We want you to manifest something so we can clip it and come back when it actually happens and say, this guy said it right now, right here. So look at the camera and manifest something you want to come true in the next 5 years.
I got a journal coming out.
Okay.
And with Top Shelf, I believe in this stuff like being super powerful. And how you break it down, like there's rational ways to break it down, there's foo-foo ways to break it down. But the reality is this stuff works. And every morning I'm writing these things in there, I'll share them. Mm-hmm. And again, I want to hold true to that idea that life is dynamic. Right? If we end up in World War III and, maybe I'm trying to become dictator of some little island, like that was the fate that was there for me. Yeah. But right now the stuff I write is, this getting to $100 million level that opens the doors to Paris and high fashion, some of that stuff. I'm trying to put Rob the Bank the center of all of that as a designer of things I'm interested in that influence culture. Okay. So it's like real big vision stuff, right? Maybe it's not 5 years, maybe it's 10. Okay. But, I want to get back into music. I want to DJ. I already design move the bag. It's like super random, right? And I gotta be tactical on like when I do some of these things. But I want this character to be the center of all of that. Like one of the first people to merge social media with this next era. Mm-hmm. You leave guys like Trump and even Mark Cuban. Yep. Like that was the old era of business meets media. Yep. And I want to be one of the people to maximize this era. For most, he's doing great. So I journal all of that in there. And then, you know, a lot of family stuff too, like just to continue to have that first year on family and protect all my loved ones and all that stuff. And that's lots written there. Step back and follow.
You got this. That's easy stuff.
Appreciate you guys for listening to one.
Of course. Let me ask you one more though. This is the famous question. Does money buy happiness?
Money buys that, man.
Easy?
Easy.
No explanation?
I mean, money can destroy you. Like, money's a vehicle, right? And I think people fall into this idea that getting something makes you happy. Like, it's the arrival fallacy. It's totally false. Like, when you get somewhere, you don't get happy. You normalize. And so I think people fall into that with money, right? That's the trap. Yeah. But, bro, it's like money creates more problems. Money fractures stuff. Like, is there a world where maybe there's no money and people are dancing on the fire? Like, sure.
Probably.
But here we are, you know? And in this world, like, I'm going to be happier being able to experience all the things I want. And money is the exchange for that. Period.
It's accepting it. You have to just accept it. Yeah. Brother, I appreciate it, man. This was a great chat. I feel like we could talk for hours. I feel like we should do it part 2 in the coming months, coming years.
Whatever you want.
It's on. I got called there.
Oh, pull up whenever you want. We'll take care of you, bro. We got you down there.
Your security, because this girl's so mad.
Oh, we got everything, bro. We got everything you need down there. We got you, bro. Appreciate you guys. If you tuned in, go check him out, bro. We're going to leave all his links below. This guy is killing the game. If you want to learn how to make money in this generation, this is your guy, all right? See you next time.
Appreciate it.